Hi, everybody. You know, I'm a simple man. I try to be. What I'm trying to tell you is I'm just going to shave today, okay? No giveaways today. If you want to enter that 11,800 giveaway, go back to the last video and put your name down below. A lot of people have already entered. I will be drawing that on Friday, but today we're going back to the basics, folks. Just Barbasol in this cool vintage can. Grandpa Grungy with a feather blade inside, set on 7. And some Osage rub. Just simple. Sometimes you don't want to show off. Sometimes you just want to shave, right? All right, so I took a shower, did my hair, gotta put some hot water up on my face. And we'll talk about what we did this weekend. What'd you guys do? What'd you get up to? All right, Barbasol. There we go. I haven't used this a bunch because I kind of want to keep it, full, but what the heck? That's what it's there for, right? All right. Whoa! Almost dropped it. Almost dropped it. So anyway, I was wounded this weekend. Not really, I wasn't really wounded. I scraped my knee. We went to a vintage car show that also had vintage airplanes. They had a B-17 bomber from World War II, and they had a B-25 as well, if you're familiar with those aircraft from that era. And the kids and I got to do a walkthrough of the B-17 bomber, which is a tight squeeze. Have you never been in one of those things? Grandpa Grungy. And as I was climbing in, I scraped the heck out of my right knee, like through my jeans. Like the whole day I was like, I think I really scraped myself. Then I got home, there was a huge wound on my knee. So yeah, so I've been telling everybody I was wounded climbing into a B-17 bomber. Yeah, I know. Stolen valor. No, it's just a joke, just having fun. But anyway, that was cool. I love classic cars, like from the 1950s and 60s, mostly the early 60s. I mean, I like them all. I have appreciation for them all, like from the most beautiful Packards of the 1930s and 20s to the crazy finned monsters of the 1950s. But if I could choose one vintage car to own, I would choose the 1962 or 63 Lincoln Continental. And of course, they take a lot of money to run and operate and keep running, so I can't do it. Back when I was single, I owned a 1965 Lincoln hardtop, which was in beautiful shape. This was long before I met my wife, and I only had it for about, I think, 2 years before I was like, I can't afford the upkeep on this thing. But it was fun while it lasted. It drove like a dream. And then a few years after that, in a very, dumb financial move, when I was married, but before we had kids, I bought a reasonably priced 61? I think it was a 61 or 60, gosh, I can't remember now. Thunderbird. Now, it used to be a hard top. It was bright red. Somebody painted it red. I'm sure it probably wasn't initially red. And it was originally a hard top, but someone had cut the top off to make it a convertible, quote unquote. Now, this is not a good thing to have if you don't have a garage, as I don't, because if you leave it out in the elements, you gotta, put a top on it. There's the first pass. Doing well. Shake up that Barbasol. Shake it, shake it. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. So anyway, I've had a couple of cars, but I couldn't afford them. And so I eventually sold them. And here's the crazy thing. This is car talk, by the way. Sinatra talks cars and shaves. Why not? What am I going to talk about? You all know about Barbasol. You all know about Grandpa Grungy. You know about feather blades. Today it's car and airplane talk. So I sold the Thunderbird. Maybe the 62. It was a 62 Thunderbird. All right. My brain, I tell you. Second pass. Grandpa Grungy in full effect. So anyway, I sold it to a guy out in California. I live in Texas, so I had it shipped out there. There are services that come and pick up cars like that when you sell them. And so sold it to the guy out there, and that was the end of it, right? Then a few years later, I was at another car show just south of Austin. And I was telling my friends, oh yeah, I used to have this 62 Thunderbird, and yada, yada, yada. And I'll show you what, if I see one here, I'll show you kind of what it looked like. And so we're walking along, and I look down, and there's a 62 Thunderbird, red, convertible. And I was like, yeah, so it looked a lot like this. This is like what mine looked like. And then I started looking closer, and it was mine. It was my old 62 that had somehow come back to Texas. And I couldn't believe it. It was so strange because I bought it in San Antonio, sent it out to California, and I guess it just wanted to come back here. And now it's owned by a couple that own a pie shop down in a city called Kyle, Texas. And I don't know if that was probably that was like 6 years ago. So I don't know if they still have it or not. But that was weird. I was like, this is just like my old car. Oh, it is. And the reason I could tell, one of the reasons was, on the radio knobs, the volume and the tuning knob, somebody had inlaid vintage nickels, the coins, into them. And so I thought that was kind of cool. Crazy. And my mom, when she was a little girl, my grandfather sold cars. He sold Pontiacs back in the day, I'm not sure how long he worked there, but he was definitely working there in the 1960s. And when my mom turned 16, he bought her a brand new convertible Pontiac, and it was beautiful. And I remember that car when I was growing up. It just sat in the driveway. So my mom got it for her 16th birthday, like ultimate, right? 16-year-old girl in 1964 gets a convertible. My goodness. Anyway, my grandpa held on to it for years, and it was there when I was growing up as a kid, and I always noticed it, but I didn't know anything about vintage cars. I didn't think twice about it. And then when I got into college and I would visit my grandpa, I'd go down there to San Antonio, and I'd have to take the old Pontiac, because sometimes as he was getting older in life and getting more infirm, he didn't have new cars anymore. He didn't work for the car dealership. So my memory of that was driving to the store, and it was constantly stalling on me. So I was like, this frustrating car. And now we sold it. My mom sold it eventually to some guy, and we shouldn't have, because that was a special thing. And it's like that thing. It's like when you're around your grandparents, when you're a kid, you can't appreciate them, They're just your grandma and your grandpa. Will you go buy us something? It's like you go to their house and you just have fun, and then as you get older, you're like, dang, I should have sat down with them and talked to them about their life, Same thing with that old car. So we still have the vehicle identification number, and we found the last person that owned it. It was still down in San Antonio somewhere, but when we contacted the owner, he didn't respond. So maybe one day we'll get that back. It's probably still out there, and hopefully it's in good shape. It was a green, like a dark forest green convertible. I don't think it was a GTO, it was a 64 Pontiac. Because the GTOs, I think, are like the muscle cars, and they're really desirable. So it wasn't just your average, car back then, like a Honda Civic is today, or some boring Toyota. So that's what makes me think somebody's going to buy it from whoever owns it now, and then I'll see it at some car show in the future, and it'll have a for sale sign on it. I don't know. That would be cool. So anyway, that's what I'm thinking these days. That's what I'm thinking today as I shave. Good old Grandpa Grungy. This is the one I started with. This is the one that started it all. This FatBoy right here. And hopefully coming at the end of the summer, I'll be able to compare this, an actual 1960 FatBoy, to the one they're making at Global Shave Company. Yeah, that'll be cool. And if you guys are in the market for some shaving supplies of any kind, razors, aftershaves, soaps, all that stuff, go to executive-shaving.co.uk, and I have a partnership with them. Use the code Sinatra5. It's down there in the link below, in the links below in the description. So yeah, they got tons of stuff. If you're a beginner, if you're if you've been doing this for years like I have, they have so much stuff. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do, because I didn't get any nicks. I've been doing so well with this. Grandpa Grungy, ever since I did that tribute for Kyle's dad, I haven't got any nicks. You can make of that what you wish, folks. It's the mystery of life. All right. I'm just getting the little spots where I can feel. You know, you can do this if your skin can handle it, but don't do it if you got real sensitive skin. Don't go over the same spot too much, and if you do, go real lightly. Okay, I'm gonna rinse off with cold water. Starting to get warm here, folks. Starting to get warm. Pretty soon, summer will be upon us. Family and I are heading out to San Francisco in 2 weeks, so if you see me out there, come say hi. All right, Osage rub. Can't go wrong with the Osage rub, you know? You just can't. Oh. And it barely stung this time. Not much of a burn, that's good. Not like that very first time I tried it and I wimped out. Well, that was it. That was a very simple, quick, chock full of, I don't know, nothing shaving video. So thanks, everybody. This Friday, I'll be doing the drawing for the space soap, the space towel, the Tark electric razor, which a lot of you are afraid to win. There's a lot of people that are very afraid to own that razor. Don't be afraid, just don't use it. Don't plug it in, don't use it, just keep it on your shelf for fun. What the heck. So anyway, thanks for joining me, everybody, and I will see you all on Friday. Bye.